All right, hello. We'll be starting in one moment, and I would just like to let you all know that the title has been changed. We are not interviewing VK for a second time. This is TAW for episode 2. We will be starting in very shortly.
Yeah, what's up? All right. I just want to say welcome back, all of the returning viewers, and welcome for the first time, all of the first viewers. Last stream we did was very successful, a lot more than we thought it was going to be. So we just want to thank you for all the engagement, the likes, the comments, the shares, and the views, and even the subscriptions that we got. And So I just want to introduce our guest, FMGK. He is the leader of the Bannerlord clan known as the Art of War, otherwise known as TAW. Um, he hosted a Captain Battle server, Captain Battle tournament, which is where Lomi and I met. So it's kind of nice that we're bringing it in a full circle. Um, FMGK, is there anything you want to say to kick us off?
Absolutely. First of all, thank you a lot, Lomi and Warband, for doing this. I know there's not many streamers looking at our game currently, and it's a very underappreciated game based on the quality and the emotions it brings to us. So thanks a lot for you guys doing this, and it's a pleasure to be here.
It's definitely a pleasure to host you. I mean, we've also noticed the fact that there's not a lot of media attention coming to Bannerlord, where I think there actually should be a lot more. So that's what we're all trying to fix. So hopefully the audience likes it. Hopefully we are efficient in our goal, and we can start to get into it.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay. Let's see. So I'm going to start us off this time. Warband started us last time, so I will begin with the background information for your clan. You run the Art of War, TAW, and I would like to
Sure.
ask you about the background information. Firstly, how and when was the group formed?
Okay. Tor is currently 5 years old. We were formed basically in very early 2020. We're almost 5 year old, not yet 5 year old, but early 2020. We initially started as a captain's clan. So there's on for people who don't know, captain's mode is one of the multiplayer modes that you can play, where you control AI. It's a more strategic based rather than TDM, where you have more one PvP. Let's put it that way. So
Okay.
we started on captains. We've met some great people there. We formed some we've gained size there, and then we expanded when captain seen a little bit slow down in terms of competition. We then moved on to the first persistent mod, and then skirmishes, skirmish tournaments, and then from there it was evolution. But the founders, it's me, X80, so X Bones and Regan. It was three believers essentially.
Okay. So have you been usually consistent in terms of having the clan, meet together and play over the years, or has it been more of like a on again, off again thing?
Okay, we started as a three-man army, and we slowly gained our way in the ladder of respect on the captain's mode among the captain veterans. I believe in the first year we ended 2020 with 30 some, no, maybe 20 something members, and
Wow.
we we started getting more people to playing together. We started doing some clan matches against European clans, against BTL, and other captain clans at the time, and we started gaining some more interest. And so I would say we did a very good job getting people together and keeping the competitive scene alive in captains. I would say that.
All right, you held it down. You kept the interest high. Very appreciative of that. I'm sure many people are. So next question is, does Tall have a normal or more of a unique way of getting new players? I know you mentioned just now you went into I guess captain servers and played around with people and had them come through. Is there any other ways that people have joined Tall, maybe through non-normal ways that people usually do, like maybe Discord or like going through on servers or dual matches or something like that?
That's a very good question. So when I started, when we founded Tor, I basically took a lot of effort recruiting, and I remember back then when a younger FMGK and full of stamina, just started the
Okay.
clan and so on. Um, Basically, I would go individually on each player's team. So I would add the player, and then I would make the invitation based on the lore, based on the Art of War lore.
Okay.
So I would hand write and spend a lot of time kind of crafting the lore and getting the people to go towards that direction, because we, besides the fact that the lore and in the end of the day it's a game, and we like to RP. There's some valuable principles on the Art of War that we, at least in the leadership and as of today too, we try to abide by. If you ask if there's a unique way, I'd say we started very meticulous on the way we recruited, and then as the clan grew, by the end of last year, for example, by the end of 2024, we had 210 in the in-game clan, and overall, I'll say that there's a lot of people who don't wear tags, but they are from the community. We were around 300 people, I would say, 300 and something people.
It's incredible.
So yeah, when you get to that size, it's a little hard to keep your stamina for a few years, and individually message individually and so on. But we always try to be very welcoming and supportive of the new members.
Awesome. Warband Man, do you have anything to say on this section before we move on to the next one?
Not really. Kind of sounds like pretty self-explanatory. So let's just move on to the next section.
All
So,
right.
what kind of events does TAW do?
Okay. We do a variety of events. Now that PB launched again, we are trying to focus a little bit more on PB. But for example, yesterday we had a clan native battle versus NATO. So we did a 15 versus 15 group fight against NATO. We had a skirmish versus the Joms 2 weeks ago. We run practice skirmishes. So I wouldn't say currently weekly, but at least bi-weekly we gather on TOS or the JOMS Discord. JOMS are a group of players who are extremely good humans and great individuals that we are very proximate. We like to play with them, so we always kind of do joint events on that end. And but basically skirmishes, battles, group fights, full invasion. Sometimes we organize. I know now NATO are organizing a few, which is very cool. Um, but a variety of events. Variety of events. We also attend other clans events. So Atria had a Saturday line battle that we attended for a few years. Now there's new events, so we're always on top of it, I would say.
That's interesting. Has Atria continued to exist? Because the last guest that we had on claimed that it was almost non-existent
I
anymore.
was
I'm
going
just
to
wondering if
mention,
that's
yeah,
true.
I heard that it got, I guess, not canceled, but many of the people in Atria left, so I assumed that they weren't going to do the event anymore. But if they are, that'd be great for NA at least.
Honestly, I have a take on that. I think I have, even though the community is very competitive and there's some big personalities, I would say. So this community is it's no short of drama, zero short of drama. I think
Drama.
everyone of drama. Yeah, I think a lot of people can confirm what I'm saying. So there's a lot of drama. But what I'm gonna say doesn't matter how much you look at Zach and you disagree with his ideas. Zach is the leader of Atria, for people who don't know. I have a lot of respect to Zach because the amount of criticism or hate some of Atria interactions got on different mods or on different events, and they kept strong. And even though they had a few uh, episodes that a lot of Atrians left, they always managed to restructure themselves and grow larger. So I have respect for Zach about that. I don't think Atria is going anywhere. I think it depends on Zach, obviously. Sometimes we as clan leaders we get tired of things, and it's understandable. We wanna spend um, some more time in real life, and we want to take some breaks. But I'm pretty sure Atria is gonna come back. They did host an event yesterday, so a battle event. Was pretty cool actually. We unfortunately didn't manage to participate. I wasn't available at the time, and PB was having a siege, so it was something that came all together. But they hosted an event with the sword and musket mod, so basically, it's the Bannerlord version of the Napoleonic Wars. So that was pretty cool. We've tried it before, but they held it yesterday, and probably next Saturday we should attend it. Probably.
Oh, it's very interesting to hear another perspective about that. Seems like there's definitely a lot of disagreement about the what exactly is going on in the community, to say the least. Um, so let me ask: does the group have any mods of its own?
Um, TOR specifically do not have a mod because I don't we don't intend to host events of ourselves currently. We are very supportive of other clans or other groups initiatives. For example, now There's a skirmish matchmaking Discord called, a lot of people know as MM, which is basically an independent community where you can just join and play skirmish games. And Tor has contributed to the MM's, let's say, technological infrastructure. So we've helped Crusader, Vampy to organize a future website, some mapping, some insights. So we have a lot of good people, good, well-intentioned, that support other initiatives, but we haven't thought on starting our own event now. So there's no
I
reason
see.
for a mod currently.
I see. So you just mentioned something MM, is that right? Matchmaking?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Oh,
So
go
I
ahead,
I've
sir.
had a couple of conversations and I've heard that I don't want to push any buttons, but I've heard there was some controversy around this issue of matchmaking. Is that right?
There's controversy on a lot of topics on this community. So, do you have anything specific that you want me to address on?
I was just wondering if you had anything in mind.
So, it's follows, let's put it away, the libertarian principles. So, in a way that it's freedom of speech to the maximum. So Crusader and Vampy, which are the community managers of they believe on, let's come here, let's play. It's a competitive community, so there's a lot of good players who have thousands of hours on skirmish specifically. A lot of times they're very skilled PvP players who end up being allowed to speak their minds. So sometimes it can become a toxic environment. That's everything. That's for sure. But at the same time, it depends a lot on the time you play, with the people with who you play,
All right, very sorry, I'm
and
back.
no worries, and your
What did I
mindset.
miss?
Um, when
We
you're
were
playing
just
there.
talking about if the group had any mods, and then he mentioned matchmaking, so I just asked him about the controversy surrounding matchmaking, which I've heard about from some players.
Okay. Is there anything that you didn't say that the audience might be curious of? Because I have, in some like small degree, heard a little bit about the drama that the NA community has, but I have never gotten like
Mhm.
specific stories or like individual grievances that players have with each other, so it's not really been something close for me.
Okay. I mean, as a clan leader, and as clan leading is not easy. When you have to conciliate life, and you have big clans, you have good competition. Um, so I try to not, for example, Warband asked me about Atria, and I know that the other guests that you guys had probably said some bad things about Atria, and I don't think it's my position to to disrespect a clan leader, or to talk bad things about a clan, because there's a lot of effort that was put into fostering that community. And the more communities we have in our greater community is better. If we have more clans that are
That's an
compatible.
excellent point you made there. I totally agree with it. I just wanted to dig into the issue, and see what you think about it. So the next question I have is, does the group play any other games?
Yes, actually, as I said a little bit, we are very proximate with the Joms Borg, which Orc War Boss is their leader, and we actually, I'm gonna say something spicy here, and Orc, if he watches it, he's probably gonna agree. We are basically the same clan in two different faces, two separate entities. So we have, because the reason I say that is because we play a lot together. Basically, all the mods that we play together, we basically bunk together. We separate responsibilities. Our members get along very well, and by connecting these two communities, we gain access to a lot of games. Like, we have Hearts of Iron games weekly. There is Crusader Kings games. There's Helldivers. Some players play Battlefield together. So I would say there's a lot of games that we play together, a lot of games, which is pretty cool. Pretty cool. It's important that helps for longevity. So any clan that you can you increase the strength of the connections among the players by allowing them play other games is it's very powerful.
That's very interesting. We actually, this is a question that I have just in regular conversation. It is in a future topic for this section, but the concept of clans interacting, like still being separate clans, but interacting kind of diplomatically, you know, on a community basis, where the players,
Mhm.
you know, kind of have a personal relationship with the other players, and that leads to bigger cooperations. That's awesome. I think that's kind of what we're trying to do with connecting the whole NA Bannerlord community in general. So setting that
Sure.
example is definitely an honorable thing. Definitely something that deserves some recognition. So we applaud that.
Appreciate
Um,
it. And just to comment, just to extend the comment, there's a lot of Thaw and John that have met in real life too. So some of our guys actually, have meetups. A few of us met in bars. Played pool together, drank some beer. So it's pretty cool.
So I guess since we're talking about other games, this will be the perfect time
Yeah.
to mention that many people in other clans, I won't mention specific names right now, but there are other clans in the Bannerlord community, also some who make content that play Hearts of Iron and CK3, and we love those things. So if we want, we can definitely do like a big 20 person, if our internet can handle it, cross national game. That would be fantastic, wouldn't it?
Okay. Yes. Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's definitely good. If the audience is interested in joining that sort of thing, we have a content channel for Bannerlord in the description of this video. If you want to join that, there's a whole bunch of other content creators and people in there. So moving on to the next section. The next question is, what is the culture of the group like? Like within TAW, among the players, maybe the leadership and I guess the lower level players,
Yeah.
what is the culture like? How do you interact with each other?
That's a great question. It's a very There's a lot of ramifications and ways to answer this. But I'd say since the beginning, the most important thing that we looked out for players is good people generally. Doesn't matter if you're good at the game, if you're newer, if you are and super vet, you have to be respectful. You cannot, it doesn't matter if you are the god of the game, if you cannot just come and disrespect one of our players or newer players. So we always looked out for that to begin with, and we interact usually on events. Tor is it's currently a very competitive clan. You can put it in native, you can put it, PB. We have You can make the argument that not overstepping the next questions, but you can make the argument that on the competitive skirmish community, you have basically VK and Tor currently. Yeah, unfortunately, that's the reality on NA. So if you put the best skirmish clans, it's gonna be Tor and VK. So we are very competitive, but at the same time, we always make sure we have a good interaction and we have good humans in our group.
Well, that's definitely
Yeah.
a filter that more people can learn from because great players mean nothing if nobody wants to play with them, right? Especially in a massively multiplayer
Exactly,
online game.
exactly. And
Okay.
there's different game modes that require different skill sets. For example, PB, you need. I'm not sure if you're how familiar you are with PB, but PB you have a lot of roles. You have crafters, you have the serfs, and then you have the fighters. So there's different roles that require. Maybe I'm not such a great fighter, but I'm a very resilient crafter that I enjoy supporting the team. So I deserve my respect on that end.
Yes, I'm more recently getting into PB. Not too familiar with it, but I'm familiar enough to understand what you mean, and I definitely agree that different skill sets are what makes communities strong, resilient, being able to solve problems in multiple ways, which is the essence of intelligence, I guess. So
Absolutely.
that's important. I guess moving on then. How many groups are there that are similar to Tall? You mentioned like Jom, or basically the same clan but
Mhm.
different groups. I guess I'll break this question into two parts. What differentiates Tall from Jom, and also um, how many other clans are there with the traits that Tall has?
That's a great question. What differentiates TOF from the DOMs? Um, it's hard. It's a hard question. It's a hard question because I have a lot of respect to Arc Boss and a lot of Jomland members. Um, but basically, first of all, the lore. So we come from the Art of War. They are the Jom Vikings. So we act as we think our actions. They like to raid. So let's put it that way. I'd say we try to think a little bit more long term, and the jobs are more a little bit to enjoy the moment. But that's a very very vague answer. Okay,
Okay, I mean it
because it's
answers
it's
some parts
a
of
hard.
what I was looking for, but maybe not everything.
Absolutely, absolutely. Let me move to the clans. I would say the groups that are somewhat similar to Thaw. Um, I would say, as I said initially, I respect that there's even though there's disagreements, I respect a lot of clans. For example, there's VK is a very competitive community, and there are some bad apples, absolutely, but there are some good apples too. So I learned to respect. There's a very strong community within VK and with some very good players. There is also a resilient community. I mean, they're around for a good amount of years. There's also a good and growing community on KOTF. So I like Gage. We had some disagreements in the past, but Gage is a nice person. He looks out for his group. So I think that's very cool. Um, so KOTF, I would say, has some good ideas. I know they play some other games together, which is cool. Um, and I would say Atria also has some elements. It's hard for me to say what exactly they are like to Thaw because it's not a single sentence answer. It's more of a freaking essay, but they have sorry for the vocabulary, but
that sounds juicy.
Juicy, and don't be afraid to swear. This is not a below 18 channel.
okay, good. But that's a little bit where I stand. So groups that are similar, I would say there's some elements of VK that are similar to Thaw. There's some elements of KOTF, elements of Atria, and I'd say I don't know what differentiates us from the jumps, but I love the jumps.
So
That's all I have
would
to
you
say.
say overall that TAW does many things within its own community and other communities, and like the many things that it does makes it similar to a lot of other groups that do a lot of other things? That be fair?
There, that's fair. That's fair. There's also the element of I mean, a community is formed by the kind of people that they have in the community, and there's some personalities that are similar within the clans, but they're just in different clans, and I'd say we have some similar personalities in some aspects. But I love the community we have built, and I love the players that I have the pleasure to serve and play with.
That's awesome. I think the previous guest we had on also said he shared a sentiment of the players in his clan. He works for them and not the other way around. So it's a
Hmm.
noble attitude to have, that when you're the leader of something, it's kind of your responsibility to provide a good experience in playing.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So
We Go ahead.
I wanted to kind of expand just a little bit in this special case on what you said about VK. They are obviously in the NA community. They have a reputation. Um, I wanted to know, and separating this specifically from your relationship with VK or your opinions on VK. Um,
Okay.
is there a basis, and this is a question from like a new kind of player in the community to like an old, a veteran player, one that is high up?
Mhm.
Is there a basis for the kind of stereotyping that goes on within the community about VK? Like you mentioned that there are good apples and bad apples. But for people, say for example, that are trying to look into PB, or people that go into like
Mhm.
the multiplayer games that they play, should they be as scared as people want to make them about that clan?
Okay, that's a great question. First of all, it's not on my job to come here and fry less. Okay, for less is the VK's leader.
Hmm.
But so I'll address that question in a very specific way. So VK, I'm pretty sure Les from the beginning had the intention of creating a clan in a more of a esports environment. Okay, so it's a very competitive focus. He wanted to have the best players, and Les is a kind of player who does everything that needs to be done to achieve the end goal. Okay, so a little bit of the Machiavelli style. So if he has to try to get some leadership of a clan that is gonna bring some players along because they're leadership and they have good friends, he might do it. And that may disrupt some part of the community. But what I want to address is your question is for the new players, and the stereotype that VK has built. VK is a very competitive clan, as toys, I would say. They are around for longer, and they have succeeded in skirmish, which is the main competitive mode in Bannerlord, a lot. They're very good at skirmish. What you can see, or a little bit of what I explained, that they have built the clan to be on this esports format, so they succeed on hyper competitive situations, but they don't succeed on longevity. So if you see that PB is a game, it's a game mode where you need several elements to succeed. You need the people who are willing to do crafting, to do surfing, to basically work for the greater cause, and you have the players who need to be there to protect these serfs, to protect these crafters, and to be able to win the battles and increase the overall morale of the group. Okay, so you need these elements, and you see on a clan that only has a specific niche of players does not necessarily succeed on a mod that needs all the pieces. And as you can see, so there's different so the way that I say this, I think VK is a very competitive group. um, by being competitive, every community that's competitive, you're gonna have a lot of people who are good players, and when you are a good player, you have an ego, let's put it that way, and when egos collide, there's toxicity that goes on. So it's a more toxicity propense group, and I don't think less. I think maybe now he has changed a little bit, but in the past he has not looked. Oh, this player is a bad apple. I'm not gonna accept this guy in my group. That was never the case, I would say, if the player is a good player. And I'm not judging. I'm just saying how it is, and that doesn't change the fact that there's other groups in the community that are very competitive. TOR, as we have become in the past 2 years, we have become very competitive, playing on Division A of skirmish, winning matches and battles versus VK. So, and as SKOTF has become, as Atria was starting to become, after they had a small bump in the way in the past weeks. So does that answer your question a little
It
bit?
does, yes. I mean,
Or
it sheds a light
okay,
on the whole situation. The kind of animosity of the community towards that particular group of people is not due
okay,
to like a direct intention for hostility. It's more due to a desire to prioritize like winning the games over community enjoyment, which is neither here nor there because it is a game that has objectives and goals. So
exactly.
yeah, it's more of a a conclusion that some people reach, which may not be the full story.
It's
Make sense?
Okay.
interesting. It's interesting to take into account that when we had Les on here, he even said himself that his clan is often viewed as the bad guys within the community, and uh, he kind of seems to have just like almost like accepted that. Uh, so I think that was a very good explanation of what's really going on, and might help people to understand where some of the animosity comes from.
So commenting on this, I think he he likes to speak, on that sense. Oh, VK is the victim. Sometimes when you are speaking to him, but he acts in subtle ways that he he continues to bring that animosity towards VK. So I'm not gonna comment much on that. I have a lot of respect to Les, but it's just that's what I said. There's a lot of drama in this community that you learn over the years, and there's a lot of interactions and politics that has gone from within the clan leaders in the past years. I would say.
Okay. Well,
Yeah,
that I
I've heard a little bit, you know, whisper on the street about some of that stuff, and
I would
man,
say
is
that's
it?
satisfactory.
It's a little bit too crazy to some of it is a little bit too crazy to bring up on this show.
I may show it after the show. I did see an incident that happened yesterday on PB, but we will save that for another time because I think this particular topic has gone on. I
Okay.
will skip the last question because it's a little bit less interesting. We may be able to come back around to it later on. But the
Okay.
next question is you may be able to extend it to the all of NA Bannerlord community or just specifically PB because I know PB is a mainstay in the discussions of our community. Which
Okay.
clan is the group's biggest ally and biggest rival? We assume Jom is going to be the biggest ally, but who is the clan's biggest rival?
Absolutely. Joms are for sure the biggest ally, I would say. They are a good group of people, and that's what we value the most. And I like a lot Orc War Boss. Our group works very well. Biggest rival, I would say it would depend a little bit on the game mode. As I said, I think right now on Persistent Bannerlord, which is PB, I think Gondor's it's not a rivalry at all, but they are probably the strongest group there. So
Absolutely,
if
I've seen
there's
that too.
wars and so on, so Gondor I would say on PB, and you have the rivalry from Skirmish, which as I said, To and VK are the most competitive clans currently. So I would definitely say that VK is the most. If there's a clan match that is going to be the hardest, it's going to be a VK versus TOR currently. Period. But I don't look at them at the maybe the way that some other clans look at each other. I think it's very good that we have some good players in the community. It's important that we have more games against each other, and I encourage any other clan also to enter this scene because we need more clans. Absolutely.
Definitely. That's something that we all will say all day long. Now, we don't need, this is an important note for the community, we don't need more clan leaders than there are clans because that creates problems, but we do need more clans. Need more people, and
Hmm.
yeah, there's a lot of ways we can get that done.
Absolutely.
All
Absolutely.
right. Warband, are there any notes that you have before we move on to the next section?
um, no, I think I pretty much already said what I was going to say
All right,
with
then.
regards to that. But so let me ask the next question. And this is going back to the beginning of the video where I mentioned the captain battle,
Okay.
and you mentioned it too. So let me ask, how often does the clan organize these captain tournaments?
That's a great question. Organizing tournaments, it's tricky. We've organized so far in the community. If you consider all the game modes, not only captains, we've organized three skirmishes this tournaments, and two captains tournaments. So five tournaments overall. when we do, at least myself, FMGK, when I get to do something, I do it with a lot of intensity. So I spend a lot of hours, organizing. We do the AI lore, videos, screenshots. We try to put a prize pool together. So it's not so easy. Um, but answering specifically about the captain tournaments, I got to speak with Dev. Dev34 is the captain's leader of TOR. On TOR, as we have separate branches, we have a few leaders that form or greater leadership. Um, but we probably are going to organize one within the next 2 months. I know it's disappointed. I know it is disappointing that we don't have a tournament every month, but it's not exactly super easy, and require time and human resources to do it.
Okay, so that kind of answered my next question, which was when is the next upcoming TAW tournament? Within the next 2 months, I guess.
Absolutely. And I would also like to ask, maybe could be after the interview, or even if you want to answer, also ideas. I know you are a captain veteran of yourself, so it's for anyone that want to participate in the community. We are open to hearing or the how you.
Oop, seems we have some technical difficulties here. We will resume shortly.
But there's
So
also
sorry.
ups and downs on that.
Hello, mic check. Okay.
What would you
Uh,
say is the difference between a cup and a league?
I believe my Discord just went down, so the past about 30 seconds or so
Okay.
was cut out. If you could just summarize that real quick.
Okay.
All right, let me ask the question again. So I was just asking when is the next captain tournament for TAW going to be held?
Okay, okay. I heard up to about 3 months, and then everything after that for about 10-20 seconds was lost.
Okay. Um, so basically, it would be awesome if we could organize, if there could be one tournament a month. It would be really awesome. There's a lot of human resources we have to put organizing a tourney. It's very nice that now Dev34 is leading our captain, let's say, arm. And I'll definitely. I know he's very busy. He's a very busy and extremely intelligent person. I'll reach out to him, and I'll definitely see if we can organize one within the next 2 months. But that's what I would say. It's a healthy margin. I think we can make that happen, absolutely. And it would also be awesome if anyone wanna enter this community and participate on these captain tournaments. That we're open to ideas on how it should be made. There are several options that we can choose from. We can do a cup, we can organize a league. It's which each format has its ups and downs, but we are open to ideas and to make it happen. Absolutely.
When you say a cup or a league, what exactly do you mean by that?
So when you organize a cup, usually it can be a 1 day cup. So as we did the last one, where and it wasn't exactly, yeah, the last one wasn't exactly a 1 day cup. It was supposed to be though, but we extended over 1 or 2 weeks. Um, but it's not, not the idea, but it worked out just great, in my opinion. And so a cup, usually you draft you draft teams from a player pool. This player pool, so whoever signs up for the tournament goes to the player pool. From the player pool, the captains pick the teams, and then you can choose several ways of picking. You can do a snake draft, which is a way of trying to balance the skill level from the captains. So, for example, the lowest skill level, let's put it that way in quotes, would pick first, and then the second lowest would pick second, and the third lowest pick third, giving a higher likelihood of the, in theory, lower skilled players to get actually the the first picks. So arguably they would have the freedom to choose it. So the cup, you organize, you captains pick players from a player pool, and then you have the league where we ask clans to sign up teams. That could be a clan, could be a group of people that put together a team and they participate in a weekly game basis. So we have one game a week on a style of a group stage. So if we have 4 teams in the group stage, usually we're gonna play 4 games. So each clan is gonna play against each other, and then we move to the playoffs. So the top teams from each group goes to playoff and fight to the quarterfinals, semifinals, finals, and so on. So this is a little bit the idea. There's ups and downs. The cup is way faster, but the league can be more rewarding on a more established community. So sometimes organizing cups to bring attention to the scene, and then you have a big league which engages the players from the scene, I would say.
Okay, that kind of clears it up. So the cup is more short term and the league is more of a long term thing.
It is. It is. So the league, it's played over a few weeks or a few months, and then you have the cup that can be played. It can be a 1 day cup, a one weekend cup, or a very like few weeks cup. But usually the league lasts more than a month. That's how it works usually.
I see. So let me just ask another question, which is, are there any other captain focused clans out there? Because I haven't really seen too many, to be honest.
We have to thank Theorose to be such a great community management service, okay, because they do a fantastic job in killing the game, even though the game is great. It's an
Oh my
understatement.
goodness.
It's an understatement. It's an understatement of how much they put effort in killing the game, okay? Because the captain scene was thriving, and I could only see more players joining right before the update 1.7.2, where basically they fucked up the queue. So the in-game matchmaking queue stopped working, and basically there were a period of a whole month where players could not play multiplayer, essentially. Okay.
And from what I've heard, this has not really been ever really fully fixed with skirmish.
Exactly. It never fully fixed. It's very interesting that it works on EU, so there's European matchmaking like you, but on NA it never came back. People never played again. I don't think people know that the queue works because you press there to queue, and sometimes it queues you. For example, if there's 3 people queuing, it's gonna queue up, for example, a 2v1 sometimes, and it's very dumb because it's supposed to be games of 6 players. So literally, if there's 6 people queuing at the same time, it's gonna match 2 3v3s, and it's not gonna allow more players to join the lobby. So it kind of killed the the
So,
actual matchmaking idea, I would
oh
say.
yes, I heard the same thing for skirmish. They basically messed it up so that you can't get a real game very easily or
Exactly.
at all.
And the
Uh,
hard part is that the way humans go about we play games to be rewarded, right? So it's a
Absolutely.
reward. It's dopamine. And basically, when you play on a custom server, you don't get loot. And I know it may sound kind of simplistic, and maybe oh, FMGK, you're caring about in-game loot, but it's just the principle that we are not being rewarded by playing custom servers besides the natural enjoyment of the game. So I would say that the loot aspect, it's
yeah, it's
imposed. Yeah,
totally, completely like doesn't even make any sense. Like, what's the word? It's like defunct. It's complete. Like the loot is like because nobody plays the native servers anymore for the most part. People just play custom servers.
exactly.
So it's almost like
But
why
you
would
asked
you?
about you asked about other clans, so I was trying. I was weaving my way in there, and I forgot. I lost the my pathway. But basically, there are European clans that still play captains. It's a much smaller community than skirmish or battles currently. Okay, unfortunately. But I remember a few, maybe 1 or 2 years ago, we used to play a lot against VOV. It's a Veterans of Valhalla. It would be actually one of the, I would say, main matchups of the captains community, where it would be Thor versus VOV, so an international matchup. Basically, it would be kind of the main thing that was played, and we used to play every Saturday 3 p.m. EST. It would be kind of like a certain thing. Every Saturday we would play, and we did that for like a few months, and then we ended up, there was one weekend didn't happen, the next weekend didn't happen, we kind of let it go. But there's very few clans that still do it. I know Atra has some interest on it. I'm not sure right now. I know KOTF has some interest on it. Joms have some interest on it. Maybe if there is a captain's tournament with a good prize pool, that might kick things off again. We maybe have some other clans that could be willing to join. Unfortunately, in the end, to bring the interest, either we need a freaking big streamer or we need like a big prize pool to make the headlines. Unfortunately, that's the
I
reality.
see. So I just have one quick question, and then we'll move on to the last section. And that my question is: does TAW have any special projects or plans for anything like that coming up, other than the tournament?
That's a good question. That's a good question. We do have a few servers, so we have some very loyal TW players, like non belligerents, even Dev34 have Code Smoke. They have their own captain servers. I know Num servers. It's very populated. It's basically one of the ones that are full basically every day.
Oh
They
yeah,
they run.
let me
Yeah,
just interject for a second. I love that server because it makes it so that the classes are balanced. It's not just an infantry fest. You know you can play archer or cav, and
exactly.
and
Yeah.
that's why people love it so much. I think.
It's very cool. It's very cool. I truly enjoy it too. I haven't been so active in captain myself. I was a very you could put it that way, that I was a captain's OG. I used to play a lot captains, and I have to play more, absolutely. But Num, I've heard that we spoke a few weeks ago, and he's trying to evolve the mod. He's gonna add some. He's considering adding some specific armor. He's trying, because TW built in a way that for you to use external assets, so other armors, you have to use it through an external mod. You cannot kind of make the client downloads it from the server, which is very sad. So he was trying to see if he could maybe try to do something like that, add some custom armor, mess up a little bit with the players, with the AI armor, AI look. So that could give us a fresh look in the game. So that would be cool.
I see. That does sound cool. So we're gonna move on to the last section, and Lomea, you can go ahead.
All right. Okay, so we did talk a little bit about some of the things in this section, but besides the normal things that you do with Jom, like bunking together and playing, events together, like other games together, what
Mhm.
are some other ways that you would recommend, like for other clans in NA or new clans or big communities that want to get together into clans? How would you suggest that they show their friendship? Like, what other ways would you suggest that they kind of display a larger um, cooperative nature between them?
That's a great question. There are several ways clans can cooperate. Um, but first of all, one important thing about relationships, and I am not gonna mention some clans, but I know for a fact there's some clans that have done it. When you are on a, for example, let's give me an example. We are on PB. So
Yes.
on PB, PB, Thor and John are bunking together. And also NATO is bunking with us. So on the same castle we have these three factions all together.
Okay.
When we are there, even though we are different groups, for example, it's of my interest that Thor keeps growing, and so we recruit new members. It's of NATO's interest that they recruit more members, and it's of John's interest that they recruit more members. But when we are there, we enter the mindset. We at least we are currently in the mindset where, hey guys, we are, we've called the Jato. So
The
it's
JTO.
John, yeah, Jato, John, and basically NATO, but it's John NATO basically.
So
So it's
Jom
John Thor NATO.
Ta NATO.
Yeah, so we enter the mindset of the Jado, and more people that plays with us, the better. The greater our players interact with each other, the better. We aren't interested in, okay, how can I benefit from this relationship? Rather, we are trying to, hey, how can we make this better? you know so this is one thing that it's a hard example to kind of contextualize, but I think you see the bigger picture where I'm trying to achieve. Maybe less clans trying to benefit from the interactions, and maybe more clans trying to actually make this better. Um, for example, I'm gonna give an example here.
Okay.
VK has a matchmaking bot. Okay. Basically they have the equivalent of and there is the server costs. Okay, so when you have a bot, you have to have servers on demand, and you have to basically hire a machine, basically a VP. You can call it, you can make it easier and call it a VPS. So it's a
Okay.
virtual private machine. Um, and basically that has a monthly cost, and less is not going to do it as a pro bono. So VK's intent of having their own bot is a VK tool of recruiting, right? So sometimes when there's nothing to do in the community, and for example is not going, some players rely on going to VK's bots to play there and have a good time, learn skirmish, play with members there. But there's some policies, for example, LES don't allow players to play that are not running VK tags. Okay, and that's
Okay.
that's his that he's absolutely his autonomy. It's his bot. He pays the service absolutely. But at the same time, for example, you
I
have
have to I have to say
what?
that you may have made an exception for me because I joined the clan kind of, but I wasn't wearing the VK tags. He still let me play, no problem.
Okay, yeah. There's some exceptions. Okay, but there's that's where some sleek. How can I say that? There's some sleekness coming. Less some knows that some players, they don't have such strong roots on one clan. So oh man, to play here you have to run the VK tags, and then after they got the VK tags, they start playing with VK more and they join VK. Okay, essentially. So it's a little bit of it's completely it's up for the game. Okay, I don't this is it's meritocracy. If he shows a good community, he should have more members. It's meritocracy. So if I organize more events, I should bring more members. To I couldn't end up having more members to talk and so on. But what I wanted to show is that at the same time he grows VK, he takes off from other clans in a moment that the community needs more clans. Otherwise, if there's only one clan in the community, there's not no events to
Yeah,
play.
That's true.
There's no events
That's
to
true.
play.
it's a fair point.
Fair point.
So on the mindset of Jado, it's the only way we kind of revive this game because it's very dramatic to say revive because single player has freaking
Well, it
it's
makes
on
sense. It
top.
is if it's
Yeah,
a collective solution to a common problem, then there's not a lot of criticism that can be fairly put on it.
absolutely,
It's very
absolutely.
interesting.
But look, I hate to do this. Okay, I do not mean to. I would say that Les, if you're watching, I don't mean it in any bad way. It's your, it's your ball. Everything is yours. You have absolutely the right of doing that. I'm just pointing out it's a policy in my view that is not supportive of the greater cause of the community. So that's pretty much it.
Yes, that's a perfect message to send out. Because this is supposed to be a place of all NA clan leaders, or I guess the representatives of all NA clans, and kind of the community. That's who the hosts represent. Ideally, is the
Uh,
community, especially new players. So to be able to have those larger discussions and messages sent between clan leaders that might not be in the DMs or might not be in the global chats of certain servers.
mm,
It's a great thing to have. So it's an honor to host that on this channel.
absolutely, absolutely.
Okay, so moving into the next question, how does Ta think the NA community can be improved and extended into the people who only play single player?
Great question. So here it comes, TW once again doing such a great job on advertising, right? Such a great job. I cannot express into words the how competent they are on advertising multiplayer. Okay, I cannot express. I can only praise them. So what I would say, they need to stop giving money to freaking Erdogan. They are a Turkish state company, so they need to stop giving their receipts from Bannerlord to the state, and they should start spending on freaking streamers and advertisements. But okay, let's put it that way. Basically, I think the best way we can improve the community currently, we need obviously we need more events. But I look at the community as a marketplace. So okay, I need to have as many events as I have available players to play.
Of
Because
course.
if I overwork these players, the players are gonna lose interest or they're gonna get burned out, and then when an event doesn't get filled well, it's, oh, should I go to that event? That event wasn't good last weekend. So we have, it's a very complex economical interaction, I would say. But
Yes.
what I wanna put it, basically, we need to continue delivering good events, and we need to continue showing up. So it also has to start with the clan leaders, I would say. So me, Las, Seducing Vocals, Orc War Boss, Gage, Zach, and any other clan leader I didn't mention, like Petty Nadros. We need to step up, and we need to continue hosting events. We need to continue keeping our players engaged, and at the same time, we need you guys to help us bring more players to the community. So we need to expose or the multiplayer events. We need to show how cool it is. Because honestly, the thing that kept me this long on this game, and I've spent, I come from CS:GO. I had like 4K hours on CS:GO. I spent a good amount of years on CS:GO,
That's
and
incredible.
I
I came
come
from the same game.
that's very cool. That's very cool. So I when I come to Bannerlord, and I learned truly like skirmish and captains. Honestly, there's no other game that I found the same level of dopamine and adrenaline than this freaking game. Like when you are in a very state, like flow of mind, where you don't think of anything, you're just like killing people, or just stabbing, you're blocking, you're controlling units on captains, for example. um there's no other game that brought me the same effect than this one. So I think that this game has so much potential that TW fails to explore and to bring more players. So I need you guys, since TW is not gonna do it, I need the private sector, which is Lomi and Warband and others, who helped bring this message forward, to bring the awareness of multiplayer and have more players to try it. That's pretty much it.
Wow. We usually have a section at the end for like the clan leaders to send their message out to all of NA. But I think that was a
Mm.
sufficient one right there. That's definitely it. We plan and go to more events, be nicer to each other on a clan to clan basis, get more people into the community, and don't let competition lead to toxicity. Competition is good, toxicity not so much. And I think that's
Abs-
controllable.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'd say taking a more casual approach to our clan interactions is very healthy. If the clan leader is always trying to take advantage over the other, it's it's very toxic long term, and it led to the path that we were a few months ago of a few skirmish tournaments not finishing because player like some clans are not showing up because of toxicity. So I'd say even though we want to succeed and winning is very fun, we have to do it in a responsible way as the clan leaders and basically the community managers. We have to do it in a responsible way,
A
in a
responsible
more
way.
casual way. Casual way, yeah, I would say.
Casual. Okay.
Casual does not mean you're not gonna be competitive.
Okay.
Okay,
Perfect.
but it shouldn't mean you're gonna do everything it takes to win. It should
I
not
Yes.
mean
I
that.
Yes.
think what he's trying to say is there has to be a line that people don't cross, and I totally agree. Like there's got to be a line that you
Yes.
just
Okay.
can't cross.
That's something we can all agree upon, that there has to be boundaries to our interactions. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so we don't want to extend the time too much because our viewers have sensitive schedules. We do, and we're sure that you do as well. I have one more question for you. PB, as I mentioned earlier, it's a central focus of the community's conversations. Um,
Okay.
what significance does TAW put on PB? Is it something very important? Would you encourage most players to be involved with it, or most clans to be involved with it? And do you think that it serves as a platform for like a larger NA consolidation?
That's a great question. It's a very there's no straightforward answer to this, but let me put it this way. PB, it's a mod where you basically it's a platform for clans to have interactions with each other on a daily basis. So I
Okay.
have Thaw, Jom, and NATO on my clan. If I encourage my players to get on and for us to go to battle every day, we can do it. So it's a platform, it's a tool for us clan leaders and the community overall to have a nice game. One of the issues with PB is a great mod, has great potential, okay, and I think it's gonna succeed. So I encourage everyone to try it because it can be very fun if you're in the right group with the good people, with people you like. That's the most important thing. PB is not only about joining and killing people. PB is a game where you have other layers of interactions. So you have to be with a group. For you to have fun, you have to be with a group that you like and with good people. But what I am gonna say is that at the same time, PB is a great platform. It also requires that the community, I mean, if we don't want to kill the other sides of the community, for example, the native battles, the skirmish tournaments, the skirmish cups, since the community is small, if we have battles every single day on PB, we maybe not be able, we're going to overwork the members and the players if we make them also attend other events. So for clan leaders, it's a very tricky line that we have to walk on. I don't want to overwork my members because I'm getting raided, and then I have to make a banner call for the guys to hop on because I'm getting raided, and but at the same time, I can't just send 10 banner calls in the same day, or I'm gonna overwork the guys. So it's a very fine line that you have to go there. But the new server is very nice. It has been a great experience so far, and it has been really professional. I think that some challenges that we had with earlier interactions of PBs or of the other persistent mods have been overcome, like the server issues, like extreme, bandwidth issues, so people like lagging on battles, people having massive crashes, cards crashing. So PB has it's a big improvement regarding to PE. And also, just a message for anyone that watches this video and never tried PB because they had a bad experience with PE. It's a very different mod. I would highly recommend you to try it if you haven't already, and maybe a mod that touches your hearts. That's
Yeah,
about it.
I've heard everyone who's played it has said that they like it. I haven't yet played it, but I definitely will play it soon.
Absolutely.
And I hope it's still alive by the time I get around to playing it, because I know these things tend to die after a while.
Absolutely. Now my job as a clan leader, Warband. If you don't come play with me, I'm gonna be mad at you. I'm joking, joking.
Have you just, we've basically finished all the questions, but just one last thing before we completely wrap this up. Have you been at war in PB yet? And what factions have you been at war with? I know you're with Jado, but have you been at war with Gondor or VK, or what's it
Yes, I'll,
looking
I'll
like?
also add to that question just a small minor question. I've heard some references to a clan called a triarchy. I was wondering if
Uh-huh.
that is what y'all were, also if that's another name for Jato, or if that's another thing
No,
entirely.
that's another thing. That's another thing entirely.
Okay,
So
gotcha.
it's another group of people. And those are two great questions because the main philosophy of the persistent mods is that you don't take sides. So like for example, if despite any rivalry you have on native, when it comes to PB, the mindset that you should approach is not of a clanny mindset. Oh no, I dislike VK, I'm gonna go there and I'm gonna fight VK every day. That's just a way of you killing the mod. So for example, we already fought with Gondor, we fought against Gondor, we fought with VK, we fought against VK, we fought with LGIX, we fought against LGIX. We ask people to siege us, we siege other clans. So it's very important that we give content to the players so we keep them engaged. And the only way of giving content is having this diversity. So you have to have this kind of, there's so many possibilities that you can do on PB. You can have war with everyone, and you find out that you by warring someone you might end up being friends with them later on. So there's only to gain from these interactions.
That sounds like it's actually good for the community because it will hopefully, you know, create some trust and relations between clans that don't normally get along.
That's true.
Absolutely.
Yes, I mean that definitely would solve a lot of the issues of, certain clans, not to name any names, but a refusal to do diplomacy or work with or play games with members of other clans. That would definitely fix that issue if everyone fought with and against everyone. It would be character building like middle school or something like that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, well, I think we're ready to wrap this up, right?
I certainly am. Thank you for your time, Mr. FMGK, and thank the audience for their time. Actually, first we may go over a little bit of comments if we have time for it. I don't think there are any direct ones except for Ivan Menendez says FMGK to president. What do y'all think of that? Are you ready?
Oh, I maybe in 2000. Was in 2024 maybe. Hmm, maybe 2030 something maybe.
2030. So
No,
okay, yeah,
joking.
maybe
Joke,
2050. I'll
joke,
be up next. I'll use
jo-
this as a
jo-
platform.
jokes. I don't want to be killed,
Oh,
fellas.
well,
I don't want to get assassinated because if I went there, I would cut government spending a lot. So not
Oh,
many people would be
oh,
happy with me.
oh
I think
yeah,
they're already
yeah.
doing that, so you might be a little bit
There's a
late to
limousine
the.
on the way to your house right now, I think, but we'll pray for you.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
And the same Ivan Menendez says, "Who's Gondor?" For those who don't know, who is Gondor?
Gondor is it's a mix between KT, so it was OG skirmish clan basically. So a
Okay.
mix between KT and the Byzantines. So there
Byzantines.
exactly Byzantines. So it's Gavin, Yoshi, Matthew, Tony, you know, um, basically these kind of like the core of the Byzantines, and then you have the core of KT. They came together and they forged Gondor. But it's a reference, if I'm not mistaken, to it's not Kingdom Come Deliverance. I'm not sure. I'm
That's
not sure.
Lord of the Rings.
Ah, that's true. That's true. Lord of the Rings. Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm a newbie. I'm a newbie in Lord of the Rings. So
All right. Well, I just want to thank everyone for coming out and watching the stream. And we appreciate having you on, of course, FMGK. It was an honor. And with that, we'll say just make sure you remember to like and subscribe and share the video. And that's it. Thanks for
Yes.
watching.
Yeah, last thing I will say is the main thing that gets people into this community is exposure to the content. I know there are a lot of people that watch Bannerlord content, a lot of people that like to play Bannerlord, but they don't know that these videos exist, and they don't know that multiplayer is as solid of a community as it is. So if everyone watching this shares this video with 2 people in their DMs, doesn't matter if it's their phone DMs, Discord DMs, Twitter DMs, doesn't matter, 2 people in their DMs, our community might grow a lot more than you might think. So I wish everyone a good day.
amen, Lomi. I appreciate. Thanks. Thank you for hosting and thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming.
Absolutely. Alrighty.